Hey guys, it's Daniel, licensed therapist. Today, I'm joined by my amazing, beautiful wife, who also so happens to be a therapist herself. So yes, we are two married therapists. And today we're going to be reacting to a classic internet meme. Honey, have you heard of the hot crazy matrix? No. It's a classic and it's hilarious, but we're going to see if it is actually legit or not. Okay? If you like this kind of stuff, like and subscribe. Let's get into it.
Okay, so this is the universal hot crazy matrix. It's everything a young man needs to know about women. I've developed this on my own over 46 years of living on the earth. So this is how it works.
All right, first of all, honey, I want to get your initial impressions of this guy. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking he looks very professional with the tie, like he's about to conduct a business meeting, not about a hot crazy matrix.
Right? He looks surprisingly legit, right? Like this is going to be something that's going to be good.
Yeah.
That's my impression. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm optimistic about it. Let's go.
You have your crazy axis and your hot axis. Hot is, as usual, measured from 0 to 10. We're all familiar with that.
Obviously.
Crazy is measured from 4 to 10 because, of course, there's no such thing as a woman who's not at least a 4 crazy.
What do you think about that? There's not such thing as at least a 4 crazy for a woman.
I mean, what's a 4 crazy?
I mean, every woman is a little bit crazy, according to a guy. What do you think about that? That statement.
Do you think I'm crazy?
Well, this is what I think. I think that he's attributing the differences between men and women to women being crazy. Like, we're different, right? Men and women are different. And so we don't see eye to eye on everything.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier for guys to get along. So I think that's what he's saying by 4 crazy. But what do you think? What is your reaction to that?
I mean, I don't know what 4 crazy means.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like, like I would
Like
spill
throw
this
something in
coffee
your
all
face?
over?
Yeah.
What is the measure?
Do you think that that is incorrect?
I would still, if there is a 0 to 10 hot, there should be a 0 to 10 crazy.
Yeah. So there's like a 0 crazy for. So you disagree with the matrix already? With
I
the
do.
4 crazy. Okay. All right. Let's keep going.
So you got 4 to 10. This is your hot crazy line right here. Very important that you keep in mind where the hot crazy line is. As a rule, this is your no-go zone. We do not hang around and date and marry women who are not, at least in our mind, a 5.
What do you think of that? Don't date, marry, or mess around with anyone less than a 5.
Yeah, I agree that...
You agree?
I agree that everyone's measure between 0 and a 10 and their 5 is going to be different.
Okay.
So
sure,
if your version of a 5 is, whatever it is, you don't want to go less than that. I think that could make sense.
Okay, so it makes sense, right? I feel like what he's trying to convey is you should be attracted to whoever you're with, right?
Because if it's less than a 5, you're not attracted to the person. Personally.
Yeah.
So
I think he is being funny and maybe disrespectful, but I feel like there's legitimacy to that. Like you should be at least a 5. According to you, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're okay with that?
Yeah, because it's subjective.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going.
So this is your no-go zone. You don't go here. We just rule this out. Life is better this way. That's the way it is. All right. Above a 5 and to about an 8 and below the crazy line, this is your fun zone. You can hang out here and meet these girls and spend time with them. That's your fun zone, but keep in mind when you're in the fun zone, you want to move out of the fun zone to a more permanent location. Okay? So that's the fun zone above a 5, hot, below an 8, hot, and below the crazy line. This means these are most of the time not crazy. Okay?
What do you think about that? The fun zone, 5 to 8.
I don't know. I don't know what else he's going to be
Okay.
talking about in terms of zones.
Okay.
So
All right, let's keep on.
we need a little more context.
Let's go a little more context.
Above the danger zone, above the crazy line, we have the danger zone. This is your redheads, your strippers, anyone named Tiffany.
We know Tiffany, by the way. She's great. She's
Amazing.
not in the danger zone, but I see what he's saying. Yes. Okay.
This is hairdressers. This is where your car gets keyed. You get a bunny in the pot. Your tires get slashed, and you wind up in jail. Now that we have some of the chart filled in, we got a couple more pieces to put in. But at this point, understand something. This is not a static environment. This is a situation where you have got to use this matrix over time to develop some reliable data. It's like a dope chart, okay? Because at any moment in time, any woman that you have previously located on this chart can vanish from that location and appear anywhere else on the chart. So what you have to do is over time collect some data. And once you have a cluster of data points, you can begin to consider that reliable.
Very scientific. Very scientific. I don't know what he does for a living, but
This.
yeah, maybe this is what he does. He seems to know what he's talking about. But the danger zone, bunny in the pot, hairdresser, stripper. Stay away from there. I have no idea what it means, hairdresser. I didn't know hairdressers were crazy at all. But what do you think about the danger zone in regards to the fun zone?
Yeah. I mean, anything going towards the upper crazy line would be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, sounds pretty good advice, would you say?
Yeah. It's not too bad.
Okay. All right. It gets better, honey.
Oh, good.
Now, moving on, you have this zone here. This is below the crazy line, above an 8 hot, but still, about a 7 crazy. This is your date zone. You can stay in the date zone indefinitely. These are women that you introduce to your friends and your family. They're good looking and they're reasonably not crazy most of the time. Okay, so you can stay here indefinitely. Now, above an 8 hot and between about a 7 and a 5 crazy, this is your wife zone. Okay? When you meet this girl, you should consider a long-term relationship. This zone is not scaled to size. This is a representation and not an actual. This is not a pie chart showing you how many of these people are out there. This is simply a representation of what you're after. You want to be 5 to 7 crazy, above an 8 hot. That's your wife zone.
All right, so we have a fun zone, a date zone, and a wife zone. I actually really like it because I feel like when you attach yourself to someone and they're crazy, quote unquote crazy, you get hurt. If you go in with the understanding, I'm just dating them, I'm not going to be their wife, you can go through these experiences without getting too hurt, and you have these expectations, you're okay. What do you think?
I wonder why date zone and fun zone are not switched.
Yeah.
Because wouldn't the crazy, the more crazy person be like, you're just having fun, she's a little crazy, but you're
Yeah.
like, whatever, I'm just going to have some fun and maybe get my car tires slashed. But the date zone, I think makes more sense to be over here
Yeah, maybe.
with the fun zone.
I would put I would have a cap on the date zone. He has it just going all the way up. Even though you're not going to marry them, I still think that there's a limit of crazy that you want to date. So, yeah. So maybe flip the date zone and the fun zone. But what do you think about the wife zone?
Yeah, I'm just curious what this last zone is. if that's the wife zone,
What's that?
what's that zone?
Let's find out.
Okay? Now, below a 5 crazy and above an 8 hot, this is your unicorn zone. These things don't exist. If you find a unicorn, please capture it safely, keep it alive. We'd like to study it and maybe look at how to replicate that. Okay? So I was explaining this to a guy one time, and he said, wait a minute. I met this girl, and she's like smoking hot. She's like at least a 9, and she's chill. She's totally cool. She's like not even a 3 crazy. I said, you're telling me you've met a girl, she's a 9 hot, and she's like a 2 or a 3 crazy? He said, yeah, man, I like her a lot. I said, you should be careful. That's a dude. You're talking to a tranny. So you got to be careful, because down here below a 4 crazy and above an 8 hot, you're probably talking to a dude. That is the universal hot crazy matrix.
So what do you think about the unicorn?
I feel like I know a lot of very hot people who are 4 and below crazy.
I disagree with the unicorn.
Yeah.
I feel like he's trying to make this connection that if you're hot, like you have to be crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case.
Definitely not.
Do you think that growing up hot causes you to be crazy? He's kind of proposing that that's some kind of correlation.
I don't know. I don't think that there is a correlation.
Where does craziness come from? I guess is a good question.
Genetics.
Genetics?
Yes.
Okay.
Comes from, can come from your environment, the
Yeah.
home that you grew up in.
Yep. Yep.
And the experiences that you've had and how you've reacted to them.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a big one.
I don't think it's regardless of how you look, you're going to have a given set of circumstances that are out of your control. I think if you think about someone growing up attractive, they might have more types of favor or types of kind of opportunities, things that come their way.
So this is where I might agree with him a little bit, is if you grow up attractive, people are going to want to date you, right? And then that leaves you vulnerable to getting hurt. And I feel like that's what causes people to be crazy sometimes. They get really hurt, and then they can become jealous, stuff like that, right? Maybe paranoid. And so if you are not hot, people are not looking for you to date them, and then so you don't get into these relationships, it might keep you relatively safe from the pain. I feel like pain causes craziness.
It could, yeah.
Okay. So maybe there could be some kind of correlation there.
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah. Okay.
That scenario is possible.
Okay. So let me get your final answer. Is the hot crazy matrix, is it legit? No?
I don't think so. I think he's obviously kind of a comedian.
Sure.
So there's that. But there's a little bit of truth to it. What you find attractive and what you think is crazy is subjective. If we're talking crazy, like psychotic disorders or personality disorders, I mean, obviously, if you're attracted to that, give us a call. I think there's some truth to what he's talking about.
Yeah.
If you want to value yourself enough so that you're not going below the standards that you should be setting for yourself. And the unicorn, I do think that it is rare to find somebody who is very healthy mentally and very attractive.
Agreed.
Keeps themselves in shape, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And that could be a unicorn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think hot is also subjective. Like who you might think is hot can be very different from, someone else.
Sure. Yeah. So I feel like what you're saying is there's a lot of truth to it, but it's not like watertight. Like, don't follow this to the T.
No, definitely not. Especially the tranny part.
The tranny part I feel like I was actually very impressed with how, I'm not going to say it's completely legit, but I'm like, decent advice right there. Decent advice.
Yeah.
So
It's not terrible.
if someone were to say yes or no, follow this, I would say like, yeah, you should, like, not all the way, but if it's a yes or no, I would say, yeah, go ahead and follow the hot crazy matrix. Agree?
Yeah.
that too-
Oh, they would have to definitely have a sense of humor, and we don't,
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
don't
Okay.
want to offend the Tiffany's and hairdressers.
I know. Sorry, Tiffany's out there. Anyways, that is our thoughts on the hot crazy matrix. But what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section down there. Thanks for watching, you guys. See you next time.